Put my can back where it was at, man. I got the. I know what to do now. Don't worry about what's on my flow. Ain't that much. It's way better than what I thought. It's back there. That's where I sit normally, something like this. Okay. My lambing on that bit. Give me a little lambing. A little lambing, little. Oh man. God damn it. Got the lambing. Lambing. Oh. Bruh. Boom, that's all we want. A little floaty thing, add a little fanciness. Yeah, this is good. This book promises let's see how it is reading it out loud. It won't hurt to record it. This book is called How to See Fairies. Discover your psychic powers in 6 weeks. So why don't y'all do this? Y'all gonna do this with me? In 6 weeks, you're gonna see fairies. That's what they say. Or you're gonna be assured that you're on the path. Would you like to be clairvoyant? You know? Let's see. See what this got to say, man. I might read it out loud, but then I might stop reading it out loud. So don't count on it. We're gonna see. We'll start with some reading. Hopefully the beat ain't too much for you. All right. Would you like to be clairvoyant? To have a sixth sense or psychic powers? To read tarot? Looking at my levels. To douse? To see fairies and auras? If you started on this book, the chances are that the answer is yes. Anyone who can already do all these things easily doesn't need this book, though they might find some of the exercises interesting and fun. It's worth remembering, though, that human culture has been heavily influenced by religious and scientific ideas over many centuries, and that means there are plenty of people who do not want to be clairvoyant, either because they believe it to be something wicked and ungodly, or because they believe it to be a load of rubbish. And if they did start seeing fairies, it would only prove they were mad. In fact, the people who don't want to be clairvoyant are probably a majority. But don't tell my publisher, it might make him sad. So let's assume you're not one of those people and that you really would like to be clairvoyant. That raises the following question. What makes you think you are not already clairvoyant? There are 2 possible reasons. Quite a lot of people have had the occasional weird experience that suggests some sort of psychic ability, a premonition dream, telepathic link, or the like. So they get the idea that maybe they have some untapped psychic power, and that thought either scares the shit out of them or else they become curious to find out more and might buy this book for that reason. And there are those who find the idea of psychic powers quite fascinating but have never really experienced anything. Oh man. That could not be explained away. It can range from I think there's something in it and would like to see if I could do it myself to I don't really believe any of this mumbo jumbo. But who am I to deny it if I've never even tried it? Very true. Isn't it all a bit weird? Come on. The idea that there is something weird about clairvoyance and psychic abilities is part of the fascination. It takes us beyond the ordinary and mundane, but it can also be the very thing that stops people from having the abilities, man. You gotta stop calling stuff weird just because you don't understand it. Come on, man. Oops. Think about it logically, man. For the unconscious can be quite logical when it is left to act mechanically. You want to be psychic because there is something weird about it, but if you became psychic, it will no longer be so weird. In fact, it will become part of your everyday experience. For that reason, then, you don't really want to be psychic. So you fail to be psychic even when you try to be. And that makes it really weird. And that makes you want it even more. Another take on the process is you would like to be psychic because that is something that will set you apart from the common herd because it's different. If you could be psychic, you would be different. But the common herd has a name for people who are different. They are called mad, buddy. Crazy. You don't want to be labeled mad, so you don't really want to be psychic, even though you think you do, and keep trying. I see where you're going. You say you want this heat. You say you want this smoke of being psychic, but you're really not man enough to be psychic. That's how I instantly interpret it. You're not G enough to be psychic. You just out here saying you want to be. So your conscious and unconscious not even gonna let you go that route. My response to this problem in this book is this. Psychic abilities aren't at all weird. They're quite normal. Just ask the CIA. Everyone has them. But many people block them for various reasons, such as the ones I have already suggested. So this book sets out to prove that they are normal. That's a good thing to do. By helping you to experience your clairvoyant abilities and to develop those skills. Within 6 weeks, you will be seeing fairies. Me too. This Drew though, I like this idea. It's trying to tell you that this is normal, bro. This ain't nothing strange. It's actually strange not to do this. I apologize for removing the great incentive to weirdness, but don't worry, because I now offer you something almost as good. Clairvoyance isn't at all weird, but it can take you to some weird places, should you choose it. Clairvoyance is as natural and normal as walking, dog. Walking can take you to the office. Oh, how boring. But it can also take you to the scariest mountaintop of the wildest scene in town. You can even walk to prison or the insane asylum. Dang, so you could clairvoyant yourself to prison or you can clairvoyant yourself to the insane asylum. Just like walking. It's an ability and it's up to you to use it wisely. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. You want superpowers or not, bro? Stop being a bitch and get you some superpowers. You know what I'm saying? What you afraid for? You afraid to get superpowers? Me and my Shinobis. Yo, me and my Shinobis getting all the powers out here. Just in case I made it sound all a bit too mundane, I invite you now to look at something truly extraordinary. You looking at it? Look like a magical tree. Respectfully. This amazing picture. It's a nature deva. Wouldn't it be amazing if we could see and communicate with great beings like this when we walked in nature? Bruh, what an adventure. Come on. What if you could see great beings like that when you walked in nature? It would be a great adventure. That's all we trying to say. We ain't saying nothing so far other than it's normal to be clairvoyant and you can see some fun ghost trees. What's so bad about that, man? What you so scared of? The picture comes from a book called The Kingdom of the Gods by the theosophist Geoffrey Hodgson. I came across this book in Bristol Public Library in my early teens and thought it was terrific. It has many pages of color plates like this. I later discovered that Hodgson's contact with nature spirits began in Sheepscombe Valley, Gloucestershire, about a mile from my childhood home. Salute. And now I live in the Cape Province where he continued his investigations. Shout out to Gloucestershire. I'm gonna say this. Gloucestershire. How I discovered that I was not psychic. This is dope. See, he going real relatable. How many of you discovered that you was not psychic? As a child, I wish I could see auras and nature spirits like these. Talk about added value. I used to sit on Sheepscombe Common, and it certainly felt special and was very beautiful scenery, but I never saw any of the fairies and Davis Hodgson described. Oh, I see what he's saying. I read the classic books on seeing the aura from our public library, and I tried really hard, gazing with half-closed eyes when in a meditative state. Dang, man, my dude was trying. I had no luck with crystal gazing either. I could sort of sense things sometimes. I have plenty of planets in fire and am supposed to be intuitive. But I was also an intelligent boy, having a scientific education and did not want to delude myself. I would not be satisfied with anything less than real clairvoyance to really see these things. I like that. You was doing right, bro. Me too, bro. Me and this dude named Ramsey Dukes, man. I ain't even gonna hit you on that mystery. But a certain other person might also be named Dukes around here. Later in life, I had similar trouble with tarot reading. This is the story. This is the story of every body, modern now. The symbols are so complex. If I asked for advice on my psychic's revision and I get a picture like this in the spread, what am I supposed to make of it? Get on your bike. How am I supposed to get a real reading from the tarot spread and not just wishful thinking? See, because he logical minded, he not trying to delude himself, which is smart. That was my problem with dowsing too. If I got a friend to hide something in the room and I set out with a pendulum to find it, I find myself thinking, I bet he hid it under that cushion. And sure enough, the pendulum will start swinging that direction. In other words, the pendulum was simply following my conscious guesswork while I was trying to develop real divining skills from my deep unconscious. So what was all this business about real? Looking back, I say that I was blocking my psychic abilities in the manner described above. I believe so. I think we all doing this. That's why we reading this book. I very much wanted to gain psychic powers, but I did not want to be crazy. Yep. That's it. That's how it go. I'm trying to highlight this mug. I think this is the whole shebang. You can't highlight. I very much wanted to gain psychic powers, but I did not want to be crazy. Fair, my dude. That's very fair. That meant my psychic powers had to be real and provable, not just delusional. So when I began to experience anything psychic, how could I be sure it was not a delusion? Only by testing it thoroughly. The aim of religion, the method of science. Man must be overcome. What if I was trying to see fairies and I caught a glimpse of something odd out of the corner of my eye? Rather than just experiencing the oddness from the corner of my eye, I would stare hard at it, then, oh well, I guess it could just have been a leaf moving in the wind. Basically, my process was this. I want to experience the paranormal. How can I be sure that what I am experiencing really is paranormal? Only by exhaustively testing it to make sure it is not just a trick of the light or whatever. Then how do I know when to stop testing? Only when I have convinced myself it is normal, because it still seems to be paranormal. It might mean that I have not tested it hard enough, so I set out to discover the paranormal. But any glimpse of paranormal activity presented me with a problem that could only be solved by proving to myself that it was not paranormal. What I have described is one of the basic paradoxes of any scientific investigation of the paranormal. So I was blocking the paranormal, and I continued to do that until many years later, when I began to discover the techniques described in this book. Over the years, I have managed to whittle away much of this resistance to psychic noise to the point where I can do pretty good tarot readings, use the pendulum regularly, and have even sometimes enjoyed seeing fairies and human auras. It isn't quite what I was hoping for as a child, but it certainly adds value to my existence, and I believe it could be the same for you. So this book is about how I did it. A series of simple exercises or practices that you can explore in everyday life to allow your intuition more room to play in. I'm pretty confident that you will be able to see fairies by the time you finish these here exercises. What an intro. What a life. Man, I'm taking me a little break. You know, a little throat break. I got some kombucha. I like how he broke that down, you know. It's promising. I haven't read this before. This is new to me. I relate 100%. I relate 1,000,000% to chapter 1 or the intro. Because that's the key, man. When you're getting all any of this, is you don't want to be a crazy person. So, but then, like he said, if you did see something the thing you're trying to see, you're gonna try to prove it away scientifically. or as this or that. You're blocking it yourself. And the more materialistic your mind, the harder it is to see certain things, I believe. But also, I think you get a benefit from having a very analytical mind, in that once you do see these things, you're going to do so in a very sober, mature, rational manner. Whereas, say someone who just accepted things and seen things, even though they accepted what they saw and they really saw these things, they could go crazy, bro. They be gullible. It's good to be skeptical, but follow the truth with a diligence. And prove yourself wrong, man. That's the best thing you could do in life, is keep proving yourself wrong, man. Why would you want to be wrong? You want to be right. So you got to prove yourself wrong to keep being more right. You know what I'm saying? Why keep defending bad beliefs? So we're on the next chapter. About this book, preparation and the materials needed. This book is based on a 6-week online course that I ran during 2008 at Arcanorium College. It consists of an introduction and 6 weekly set of courses, notes with exercises for each week. I have modified the notes for this book and have added sections summarizing some of the feedback with my responses and extra thoughts. When the course requires some materials for the exercise, I will explain what is needed, but here are some preliminary notes so you can prepare in advance. For the fourth lesson, it will help if you already have a fully pictorial tarot deck. What does fully pictorial mean? Many tarot decks have a combination of cards, some with pictures and some with abstract symbols. Typically, you have the 22 trump cards with pictures and the court cards. But the remaining cards, like the 6 of wands, just show a pattern of 6 wands with no people in the picture. What you need for lesson 4 is a deck where nearly every card has a picture with people in it. The Weight Rider deck is a common and readily available example. My personal favorite is the Crowley Harris deck, but it is too abstract and symbolic for the exercises in this book, where we require simple pictures on each card. Another related project is to start collecting postcards or photographs, also for use in lesson 4. Try for a range of at least 20 or 30 images with distinct, strongish themes. By that I mean, don't just collect 20 landscape postcards or 20 pictures of buildings or 20 Elvis cards that I would have probably used, but go for a real mixture. Say a postcard of a cathedral, one of a hill fort, one of a pretty flower, of a car, of a train, a ship, a mountain, an office block, a busy street, a beach, a humorous theme, and so on. By all means, include several in the same category, as long as they are each distinctive. For example, there is nothing wrong if your collection includes several car pictures, as long as they have very different styles, such as sports car, family saloon, an off-roader, and a hearse or whatever. For lesson 3, you'll need a dowsing pendulum. I'll explain in the lesson, so this won't be any problem. By all means, look out for a nice one in advance if you feel like it. You might also like to try other divining tools, but in this book, I only describe using the pendulum for the sake of simplicity. You see, this book isn't really about teaching you to dowse or to read tarot, so much as using those as tools in order to reveal that you really do have clairvoyant abilities, so that you can then recognize them and go on to develop and use them in your own way. Quite a lot of the exercises are best done outside in a garden or in nature, but there is plenty of flexibility, so you need not feel bound by that. First, a little bit about magic. This course was first presented online at Arcanorium College, a website for people with general interest in magic. Where can I click this without changing the picture? And the occult. Although the course did not call for any prior knowledge, I did assume it would be taken by people with some familiarity with the magical culture. The same probably applies to most of this book's readers, but just in case, I'll begin with an extra introduction to the magical mindset. If you don't need this section, by all means, move on to the start of the course. You're saying a brother like me might not need this section, but I'm going to go ahead and read it for you. Magic as a different culture. Let me sip my kombucha, homemade kombucha. Taste the bacteria. I mentioned previously that in recent centuries, human societies has been heavily influenced by religious and scientific thinking. In fact, it has been dominated by science and religion to the extent that art has been largely subjugated and magic almost driven out. To illustrate what I mean, consider the way that society accepts religious censure of art, whether it is Christians denouncing modern art as pornographic or Muslims attacking literature or cartoons depicting Muhammad. Imagine what would be the response if the situation were reversed and artists demanded that Catholic shrines be purged of their bad taste, kitsch imagery, or that the Bible needed to be rewritten to iron out the narrative discrepancies between the Gospels. The first situation is so familiar as to be taken for granted, but the second sounds outrageous because art simply doesn't have the authority accorded to religion in our society. On a bigger scale, remember how religious extremism, and the term includes modern religions such as Nazism and communism, assumes the right to lay down rules about what sort of art is acceptable or not. So much for art. Magic has fared far worse. According to religious culture, magic and psychic powers are positively evil, or at least ungodly, although acceptable to more liberal faiths. Even practices such as yoga, alternative healing, and astrology come under the fire from many religious organizations. Not yoga, innocent yoga. And in terms of scientific culture, magic doesn't even exist except as fraud or self-deception. Them people need to read Indian philosophy. To claim to be a magician either means you are mad, deluded, or a charlatan. Fortunately, we live in a relative tolerance. Otherwise, the authorities would have put me either in gaol or a mental asylum for writing this here book. My art example focused on religious domination, but what about science? Surely science has not tried to suppress or dominate art in the same way. No, not in the same way, but there has been a more subtle tendency for science to belittle art by implying that it is not necessary. Plato. But you know what I'm saying? Depends what you call it art. You know what I'm saying? That's the funny thing about this. The invention of photography could partly be blamed for the crisis in the 19th and 20th century. Painting that led to the many modern movements and isms as artists sought to rediscover their purpose. The most extreme manifestation of this I remember in the 1950s when there were some scientists suggesting that the subjects such as art appreciation and literature could soon be dropped from the university curriculum. They is kind of like that. They STEM crazy right now. You feel me? He ain't wrong. Because they would become redundant once the parameters of artistic merit have been properly analyzed and programmed into a computer. Oh, wait. AI art. Dang. What? Hold up. That's kind of a little bit creepy. It's not a new book. Let me read that again. The most extreme manifestation of this I remember in the 50s when there were some scientists suggesting that subjects such as art appreciation and literature could soon be dropped from the university curriculum because they will become redundant once the parameters of artistic merit have been properly analyzed and programmed into a computer. This could still be true with AI. What this is kind of saying is like, imagine a future where AI art gets so good, so precise that we don't need to learn how to create art anymore. So we don't need to teach it in school. Because why teach art when you could just use AI art? But what happened instead? A scientist and writer, C.P. Snow, published a speech in which he analyzed art and science as two cultures, suggesting that they represented two different ways of addressing the world, ways that were better seen as running in parallel than in conflict. So science, for all its certainty and wisdom, would never replace art because art fulfilled a totally different yet equally real human need. In this way, the potential battle between art and science was diffused, and since the 1960s, scientists have felt comfortable about enjoying artistic hobbies without feeling obliged to rationalize or explain them in scientific terms. The funny thing is that religion did not feature in the debate about two cultures. It was only really towards the end of the century and religious expectations for the millennium that a conflict began to emerge again, this time between scientific and religious thinking. Although it was not resolved in so many words, it is clear that most thoughtful people came to a similar conclusion. That is a fallacy to try to prove something by saying most people believe it. It don't matter that most people believed it. Came to a similar conclusion that science and religion were not really at odds, even though you're right. but were two different and parallel cultures serving contrasting and yet real human needs. So that now gave us three cultures: art, science, and religion. Yeah, if you want to define it like that, you could do that. What I have been suggesting for many years is that the picture needs to be completed with a fourth culture, yet another culture: magic. Magic also meets real human needs. It is as natural to humanity as religion, art, or science, and it is best recognized as a culture in its own right. I just think they all the same thing. I think magic, science, religion, and art is all the same thing, bruh. You don't need to make it four, it's just one. I argue that a lot of things are done by human beings that seem very silly because the denial of magic means that they can only be done in the name of science, art, or religion, in whose terms they make no sense. But if they were recognized as magic, they would make perfect sense. Or expand your idea of science. You know what I'm saying? Imagine that some respected sociological research institute came up with a very strong correlation between people who read this book and subsequent marital breakdown. There would be a public outcry for this book to be banned as a danger to society. That's a fallacy. That's a logical fallacy. It's a causation fallacy. That's just bad philosophy, dog. Science ain't at fault. Religion ain't at fault for people using bad logic. Even the sociologists would be split between those calling for a ban in face of such incontrovertible scientific evidence. That's not incontrovertible. That's controvertible. A strong correlation is not. That's not proof. Even not at all proof. Even the sociologists would be split between those calling for a ban in face of such incontrovertible science. I see what he's saying. Remember, on nitpick. And those insisting that it was unscientific to conclude that this book caused marital breakdown. It's unlogical to conclude that too. Illogical. Because many people moving towards marital breakdown are those who become more interested in clairvoyance. Yes, that's why we have a causation fallacy. Both argue that they are being scientific, but in fact, those arguing for the ban are not being scientific, they are being magical. See, this is why we must, people don't know philosophy. When you know philosophy, it kind of help you with these ideas, bruh. But let's see. He calling this magical. Whereas science argues from causes, so my book must be proven to actually cause marital breakdown. Magic works from correlations. I do like this idea. Magic works from correlations. And you know, I'm gonna go with his mind frame. We're not gonna fight it, because I do like that idea. So if this book and marital breakdown go together, you could ban this book to reduce marital breakdown. That is called sympathetic magic. It isn't scientific, but it does represent a real human need. If it did not, there would never have been the public outcry for the ban. If this difference between science and magic were recognized, the schism in the scientific community could be resolved by the simple recognition that such threats to society often demand an immediate magical solution, backed by a longer-term scientific solution once the real causes have been identified. Prejudice against magic. You are setting out with this book to develop your psychic powers. The psychic powers in question, clairvoyance, tarot reading, seeing fairies, etc., are all part of the culture I call magic. But as I suggested earlier, we live in a society dominated by religious and scientific thinking, one in which magic doesn't exist, or if it does, it's something evil. Well, we don't care about what everybody else thinks. So you are setting out to experience something that at some level of your being you believe does not exist and cannot be experienced. We're going to get rid of that level. You may protest at this and insist, but I do believe in magic. Yet I suggest that you don't really, because not even the most experienced magicians really believe in magic. I mean, come on. If you don't believe me, then go to someone magical, get together and listen to magicians chatting. You'll constantly hear things like, I did this money spell and it's incredible. The very next day I got a rise at work. The word incredible means unbelievable. And it really does in this context, because magicians never cease to be amazed. This is true. This is annoying too, boy. This is extremely annoying. You wouldn't hear a scientist saying, that's true. Nah, he right. He 100 billion% right. Religion do this too. They be you amazed. Why are you so amazed? I thought this was how it worked. You don't believe. If you believe, you shouldn't be amazed. If you believe, you're going to be like, duh. I did the thing and it worked. It did it, you know what I'm saying? I mixed hydrogen and oxygen and it, you know what I'm saying? And it blew up some shit. Oh, I turned some water. I don't know what I'm making. That is one of the paradoxes of magic. What makes it so alluring? If something that you really believe in works, it's boring. But if something you don't really believe in works, it's, say it, amazing. I think you're going to say it's magic. Amazing. Nobody really believes in, not nobody, but I get what you're saying, really believes in magic. And so we have given it enormous potential to surprise and thrill us. This is a cultural thing right here. But this audience is for sure. Follow this course faithfully and I'll blow your mind. But we do begin with a problem. I am trying to help you to experience something when at some level you believe it is wrong to experience, either because it doesn't exist or even because it's evil. To achieve this, the first lesson will focus not so much on reason or intuition or feeling, but on senses. Reason and sense. Let's keep it going. At its best, scientific culture is both reasonable and sensible. But like any culture, when it has been in power for too long, it becomes a line of least resistance for lazy people. That is what happens. In the case of scientific culture, it becomes an excuse to opt for reason and become less sensible or more detached from reality. To be told that science is not sensible is hard for some who confuse reason and sense. So I need to give several examples. If someone in awe of scientific culture is suffering from backache and I suggest a homeopathic remedy that worked for me, then I can expect a very skeptical response along the lines that homeopathic nonsense can't possibly have healed you. It's nothing but water. That's a reasonable reply, but it isn't particularly sensible not to try something that others recommend. If I point that out, I'm likely to be reminded about the double-blind test on the homeopathic remedies that demonstrated no noticeable healing effect. In other words, people needing healing were given something and it did not work, single blind. If it was a remedy or just a dummy pill, and the researchers giving the pill also did not know, double blind, then it was found that those who actually did get the remedy fared no better than those who got the dummy. Therefore, it was decided that the remedy was no help. This is very reasonable, but not at all sensible, because the double-blind test has nothing to do with any real-life healing process. Okay. How would you feel if you went to the doctor and he said, I'll give you some tablets chosen at random so that I don't know if they are the remedy or not, because I don't want to prejudice your cure with expectations? Wouldn't that be silly? He is right. Healing involves he is right. Oh shoot. This is a paradox of sorts. Dang, I never really thought about that. That's what healing involves, explaining your illness. You gotta do that part in a secure environment to an authoritative, sympathetic person who then gives you a remedy that both of you trust. Anything less would be cause for complaint. Homeopathic doctors understand this holistic need better than most, so the healing process is halfway there before anything has even been prescribed. It is very sensible, immediate, and realistic. It's good magic, unlike woolly objections based on irrelevant tests carried out in some far distant laboratory. Next, imagine that I become known as someone who always opts for natural remedies, herbs, Reiki meditation, or whatever, rather than prescription drugs. Then I get cancer and opt for chemotherapy. My scientific critic would find this very funny. So much for all that natural nonsense. As soon as anything serious happens, he runs straight back to conventional medicine. The suggestion is that I am being silly, but truly it is the critic who is being silly. For humans are herd animals with strong social ties, and it makes sense for the survival of such animals to wander forth and explore when there is no danger, but to run back to the herd when there is danger. So it is utterly sensible to explore alternative medicines when faced with minor ailments, and even more sensible to resort to conventional medicine when feeling truly threatened. Yeah, okay, I'm with you. I could go on with these examples, but the point is merely to illustrate that the scientific culture has become so familiar that it becomes a line of least resistance for lazy thinkers who rely so much on what is considered to be reasonable that they forget to be sensible. That's true. I'll be like, sometimes instead of looking up the weather online, bro, just go outside and see. See what this is. See if it's gonna rain. Look out there. See the cloud? In saying that, I am criticizing lazy thinking rather than scientific culture. Because in the much rare circumstances when magical culture has become too familiar, then lazy thinkers begin to rely so much on feeling that they too are just as likely to forget to be sensible. Yeah. So my opening exercises will concentrate strongly on the senses. The idea is that we tune up our powers of observation. I like that. To the point where they are less likely to be influenced by reason. And we do not do that in order to abandon reason, but rather to hold it in check until something has been observed. We no longer refuse to see something simply because we know it cannot possibly be there. I like that. That's a good place to stop. Setting the tone, man. We're gonna do this. 6 weeks. I don't need to agree with this man 100%. I agree with him enough. I agree with the method. And that's the main thing for me, is the method. And I believe his results. I believe in the method and the results. I don't think he lying. I don't think this is a sham. I think this man really did these exercises and really saw fairies and worked with 1,000 rod to success. I really believe if you do this, if I do this, then this might happen. This will. I'm gonna say it will, cause change your belief expectations. That was a lot of kombucha. Man, I almost want to keep going, but I'm a gastronomic refinement. I don't know where you're going with this. But yeah, this book interesting, man. I can't rip myself away from it. I might see what else I got in my little library, man. Let me hide this screen. I'm reading all types of stuff, man. Y'all want to see some of this stuff I've been reading? I don't want no judgment. You know what I'm saying? Can't be showing everybody you're reading this. Bruh, this is digital books. Got the logic book right here. I ain't just talking it. You know what I'm saying? The logic book right here, bro. Chinese Qigong. You know what I'm saying? Plutarch. What you want? You want some piranhas? You want the complete book of demonology? Dios told me about this book. Shout out to Dios. I Ching, baby. Come on, man. Come on. What you got to say? Let me hear it. What you got to tell me? Let me hear it. It's my books, bro. You gotta tell me something that ain't in these. Or Mike, you know what I'm saying? You gotta tell me something that's not in these. Seth material. You know what I'm saying? Learn to read Hebrews, 6 weeks. Gnostic. You know what you want to know? You know what I'm saying? Just let me know. Geisha, a life. Come on, man. Mao, what you want to know? What you want to know, bro? I got you. Santeria, the religion. The ball python manual. I'll be, you know what I'm saying? Just let me know, man. Psychic phenomenon of Jamaica, bro. This is crazy right here, bro. You ain't even ready for the psychic phenomenons that was going on in Jamaica. This book is kind of crazy. If you don't, this book will make you believe in ghosts, should. Let's go to this. Oh shoot, where am I at with it? Dang. We'll come back to it. It's in the beginning. Actually, gotta finish this. I ain't finished all these joints, of course. Like my references. At Obia. This what I've been reading in the digital form. It's not even the physical joints. Gods and myths of Northern Europe, baby. A translation of the ancient Japanese ritual prayers. You ain't got that? You don't got that book? I'm gonna be stunting. You ain't got the Japanese ritual prayers, my G? Oh shoot, you ain't got the case for Jesus? We wanna know the case for Jesus around here. We need to know. What's the case? You don't got that? It's right here. Go get it. My dude, Frank, these two Franklin books right here. Shout out to Franklin, man. Two Franklin books right here. That boy is a lawyer right now. You know, straight lawyer. I think these three Franklin books. Get you some friends that suggest books. You know what I'm saying? Look at this, bro. I got all types of books, bro. Elvis Life. Are we talking that wrestling? Come on, man. Got books on it, man. NWA Wrestling Alliance. Lucha Libre. New Jack. Sex work. I got a book. You know what I'm saying? Y'all just be talking, bro. I got the book, bro. That's all I'm trying to tell you. Nigga ain't just talking. Nigga got the book. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. Human trafficking. People want to talk about human trafficking? We could talk about that. That's crazy. I got the book. It's crazy. You don't even want to know. You don't even really want to know about human trafficking. I don't even want to know about human trafficking, and I got the book. It's tough. It's rough. It's dark. Somebody told me about this. Yeah, you can't. This Ponte joint. Ooh, now this shit is crazy right here. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Enochian. I want to do some Enochian. Got hit Orly up. She might help me with these Enochians. Live in Thelema. What else going on around here, man? Ganapati. Three Kingdoms all day, every day. I need to read this, man. That's just a book I need to read. Book on Krishna. This is gonna be good. Yeah, I need to get on that. That's gonna be fire. Look at this. This some edgelord type. Probably reading edgelord books. Look at this. Regarding the pain of others. What kind of book is that? Regarding the pain of others, my nigga? You don't know about regarding the pain of others? Metanoetics? I might get back on my metanoetics. Back on my metanoetics, man. What else going on with this? Brad, this is my race car driving book. Ooh, the history. What you know about the history of torture? Come on, man. The history of torture right here. Foucault. You know you gotta have the Foucault. If you ain't got the Foucault, what you doing? Who got the Foucault next to the Morrissey, next to the herbal medicine, next to? Oh, I ain't know I had this. This next to this. Some weird manga. I never read Doom. Oh, the Heart Sutra. This one I was doing my Buddhist and Zen. Look at Alan Watts. Dang. Hey. No disrespect, man. Shout out to Alan Watts, bro. Shout out to Alan Watts. Here you go. Oh, man. It's my most embarrassing book right here. It's the Hegel book. Body language. The boy got the body language book, bro. What is your body telling me, man? Come on. Niggas don't know. I just be sitting there quiet. Remember, people tell me stuff. I be sitting there like this. But they don't know, bro. I be reading a lot of stuff about a lot of types of things. And I be sitting there like, I be knowing. But I just let them run their mouth. Identity. Been on that identity stuff, bro. Fukuyama. You ain't read Fukuyama? Y'all talking about identity. Y'all late on that. Y'all ain't even read Fukuyama. Tell me about identity. You ain't read Fukuyama. You know what I'm saying? Stunting. One Piece. Warhammer. It's a good one right here, boy. Propaganda. What you know about propaganda? About Bernays, man. I guarantee you. Go ask somebody about this book. Who know? They gonna be like, dang, that's a real one. I know, dog. I know. It's gonna change how you know what's going on out there, man. What else on here? The Woman in the Dunes? Oh, Lord. Chapo Trap House. I was watching that, listening to that. Stephen King on writing. The Iliad. Queer graphic history. We even learning about LGBT stuff. Iliads. Strangers. Carl Jung. Trotsky. Black Skin, White Mass. The Dialectic of Enlightenment. I might have to revisit that, actually. I wonder if that would be a waste of time, though. That's how I judge books. Is it a waste of time or not? And that's it, bro. We ain't gonna go all the way to the bottom. It's just getting way back in time. I remember this era. These books was free. So I was going ham. Kierkegaard. Yeah. We're going way back in time with those joints. On, 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 on. Yeah. This I told you was crazy. Trying to go to the contents. We gotta go into it. This is crazy. I'm trying to remember what some of this stuff is. This is what I want to get back into. It's crazy. Yeah, I need to read this. This is must read. What? Hold up, man. You read what this say? There's some Illuminati stuff in the right the gate. Hold it up. It's the first sentence. Demons, demons. Then you heard the thing on the music at that right time. Hold on, I'm really thinking about this. I'm contemplating this because this Christian thing is interesting. That's all. But I'm thinking about it. So this how I ponder. Watch me ponder live. I'm pondering. This is because this is kind of the extraterrestrial idea, in a way. And this is Krishna's book. It's the book with all the UFOs in it. If you don't know, the Mahabharata. That's why this is crazy. When you think about it, it's like they saying Krishna came to defeat the aliens, the demon aliens, who was an Illuminati. He went to war. He did. Dang. Bruh. 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 My mind is running with stuff. Do I need to read this? I'm gonna read this casually without recording it. Brahma became aggrieved. What happened again? Let's just read this again. Why every time I click, I can't just click the word without doing this? And I can't unclick. Bro, I'm gonna find a way to unclick. God slam it. Boom. That's where I unclick at. So I want. That's the maneuver. What happened? The time the whole world was perturbed, and the predominating deity of this earth, known as Bhumi, went to see Lord Brahma to tell of her calamities due to the demoniac kings. Bhumi, the predominant deity. It's interesting. Think about that. Lord Brahma with tears in her. Brahma is her. In shape of a cow and presented herself before Lord Brahma with tears in her eyes. Oh, Bhumi, her. She was bereaved. She got the compassion of Brahm, big God, God. Lord Brahma became much aggrieved, and so he think, and he at once started for the ocean of milk, where Vishnu resides. Lord Brahma was accompanied by all the demigods, headed by Shiv and Bhumi. Arriving on the shore of the Milk Ocean, Lord Brahma began to pacify Vishnu, who formerly saved the earthly planet. Vishnu saved us before. Oh yeah, because this is not the beginning of time. I'm tripping. This is not the beginning of time. This is the beginning of Krishna. So Vishnu is on the building. Brahma appeared to the higher, crazy, ultimate reality being. In the Vedic mantras, there's a particular type of prayer called Purusa Shukta. Generally, the demigods offer their obedience unto Vishnu. Okay. Which is the supreme personality of Godhead. Yeah. By chanting, it is understood herein that the predominating deity of every planet can see the supreme Lord of this universe, Brahma, whenever there is some disturbance on this planet. And Brahma can approach Vishnu. Not by seeing him directly, but by standing on the shore of the ocean of milk. So you gotta call out to this man. There is a planet within this universe called Shvetadvipa, and on that planet there is an ocean of milk. It is understood from various Vedic literatures that just as there is the ocean of salt water on this planet, there are various kinds of oceans on other planets. I don't know why I'm reading this out loud. Milk Ocean. He is the form of the Supreme Personality of the Godhead, through whom all the incarnations within this universe appear. Bro, it's so anime. What's more anime than this, man? Nothing. Oh, yeah, because the demigods could take birth. Vasudev. Dang. What is plenary, man? Now they want to, the click thing don't want to work now. Give me Oxford Dictionary, plenary. What do it mean? Could it be scary? I wanna see fairies. I think I could see fairies in 6 weeks, very quickly. Plenary, do it swiftly. You know what I'm saying? Unqualified, absolute. Well, hold up. Okay. Okay. That makes sense. Dang. Oh, wait, hold up. Maya. Who is this? Maya itself will be incarnated? The external potency of Vishnu is, they calling this Maya. That's true. If you understand what, oh shit, bro. If you thinking, if you use the definition of Vishnu as a definition instead of a name or a title, like a yeah, like a label instead of a name, I guess. Not a personal pronoun. No, I guess that's after. Oh, I ain't reading this out loud. Brahma like the peace. I'm going to Brahma logo. Let me read this carefully. The leader of the Yadu dynasty, this king, was ruling over here in this district on account of the rule of King Manchu became the capital city. Also made the capital king because he's pious.
One of the Miles Davis original things. Here's Nardis.
Mm, 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 mm. It's the Christian of rap, nigga. At the time comes of the son of Argrazeza, in order to please his sister, he made arrangements. Devaki had voluntarily taken the reins of the horses to different places of Vasudevas in the chariot and was driving according to the custom of survival on the Vedic civilization. What I was trying to say. Only thing is, I don't get to fully comprehend when you rapping like that. I want to really comprehend. Oh, okay. According to the custom, when the girl is married, the brother takes the sister and brother-in-law to their home. Custom. Dang. 400 elephants fully decorated with gold garlands. Light for the party. 15,000 decorated the horses and 18,000 chariots for bosses. No losses. He also arranged for 200 beautiful girls, so gorgeous, to follow his daughter. You know what I'm saying? That's how we do the Christian rap, bro. The trio system of I couldn't say that word. I don't know that word. System of marriage. Dozen of brides, young girls. Maid servants. Okay. Dang. Lifting it up. Conch shells, bugles, drums, kettle drums, all combined. Who snitched on Krishna? Some big noise from the sky snitched. Demoniac. I wonder what this is gonna say. I bet you this dictionary ain't gonna know. I guess it's a translation too. Wait. He should have just did it. Ooh, it was auspicious time. That is true. Very true. Very wise. Mm. Facts. Mm. That's kind of that's kind of crazy if you really think about it. It's the whole problem. Identity politics don't work with spirituality. For real, for real. You can't be spiritual and super hung up on race at the same time. He thinks he belongs to a human community or a particular country or particular place. It's right there. Man, he gave him a whole preaching lesson right quick. Oh, that was Vasa Day. Ooh, envy is the cause of fear. Gotta envy nothing. Mm, mm. Crazy. That's true. It's funny though. It's true. All right, man. I'm gonna read some of this more privately, and I'm gonna think about recording.